because it kind of started as a passion and a hobby. When did it transition to like, all right, I'm going to start spending a significant amount of time and money into this and make it a business?
Yes. Once I had the results of people's experience and testimonials from there, I went to, it was actually happened to be where I was working out at a gym, LA Fitness, and I had met one of the owners of Lee's Beauty Supply. And I had given him a sample. I didn't even know who he was. It was just one of those things where you just give a sample to someone. And he basically
I was one of those people. He used his sample way sooner than I used mine.
Yes. So he goes, oh my goodness. And I gave him a card, and I seen him the following week at the gym again. And he says, you know what? I really like your stuff. He says, I own one of these beauties, my family and I. Why don't you come over and bring your products, and we'll put them in the stores. And then from there, I knew I could make more.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about that, because it goes from like making something that you're independently selling because you have this countertop to actually bringing things to scale. You have to bring like all new business process comes into place. So like you got to know your margins, you got to know how much you're spending on stuff, you got to know, you can't just think to yourself like, wow, I just want things to look good. You got to think like, okay, if this plastic container costs 5 more cents than that plastic container.
Yes.
And I need to have a justification. Like, so how did you begin to work your margins and even margin of error? Because, Lee probably has to buy an X amount. Or when you start servicing a store, it has to be consistent. That store may buy, that store order, the check may take a while to come. Ain't no telling. It's all types of business stuff. So how did you ready yourself for that? Because it kind of goes from like, I can do this as a hobby to like, I got to get serious. Like,
yes.
Did you learn on the fly? How did it come together?
Well, at that time, when that had happened and transpired, I actually was a district aerobics director for LA Fitness. So I was in corporate. I already had a full-time job. And I taught classes. So when that had happened, I was prepared, but not as prepared I had wanted it to be. So I ended up just taking pretty much money from my job to help fill it, to fill the orders and different things like that. But then
So you weren't as hands-on as you are now. But at the time, it was like, okay, I'm going to operate like this. What did you learn by basically hiring a lot of the people in your process? What did you learn in that?
Well, that you do have to jump out there and you have to get the ball rolling. But it did make more sense at that time. I had them do one part of the process. One part that I
the most time
consuming was the filling, filling the product, filling the jars. It's one thing because the mix is one thing, but then to have them to fill them, to fill the jars, because you want to be able to keep the orders filled, and then they were selling, so that's the one thing that they wanted to make sure I could handle. But at the same time, they and then from that store, then we opened up to more stores. But I jumped out on faith and just started to build. And I had one lady that was helping fill it, but at the same time, I just kind of pulled back, scaled back on some hours at work, and said this is more important. And I went and I started
doing it yourself.
Doing myself.
Black revolutionaries, distillery owners, Italian fashion retailers, and Motown Grammy winners all share their best stories never before told in any other media outlets on Detroit is Different. Visit DetroitisDifferent.com or download the Detroit is Different app on Apple's App Store or Google's Play Store.